Hello, good morning, and welcome to another exciting time where we talk about the best of stories in the world of sports. Welcome to Sports Central. My name is Utabe David with a wholesome topical issues to dissect in the world of sports this morning. As tension still, of course, around the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. Some teams already been eliminated from the competition, while others have qualified to the knockout phase. One of the top teams, especially a European giant, Atletico Madrid were booted out despite winning Botafogo just yesterday. While Inter Miami's MLS side, the only MLS side who are still unbeaten in this particular competition. We'll take a look at teams who have qualified and teams who are still in the competition and teams who are yet to play off the group stages. We'll also look at the world of tennis this morning with some top level competition still up and running. We'll also look at the athletic scene as regards Nigerian representative ahead of a major tournament expected in the coming days as well. Transfer speculations will also be taking a look at Manchester United looks set to be a dominant force and talking point in the transfer market in the last few days. We'll also take a look at that. But before we talk about all of this most extensively, let's first of all bring you up to speed with some massive development making rounds in the world of sports. Welcome once again. Well, the conversation starts from the world of tennis, where the 2025 WTT contender Lagos is set to attract some of the world's biggest table tennis stars when it steps off from July 22 to 26 in Nigeria's commercial capital. Organizers announced an increased prize pool of $100,000 from $75,000 alongside a star-studded lineup for the tournament. This year's edition will feature Japan's world number 9 Hina Hayata, reigning African champion Hannah Gauder of Egypt, and France's fast-rising Priscilla Pavet among the headline names. Making her debut in Lagos, Hayata arrives as a top-ranked player in the women's singles draw and a major title contender. Nigerian favourites Quadra Rune, who missed last this edition due to club duties, is also confirmed to compete alongside Croatian powerhouse Tomislav Pusa, Japanese prodigy Yuta Tanaka, and Africa's top junior talent Wazim Exit of Tunisia. Athletes will compete across 5 categories: men's and women's singles, men's and women's doubles, and mixed doubles. Winners in each event will earn 400 ranking points as the Lagos Showpiece event continues to cement its place as one of the most exciting stops on the WTT Contender Series calendar. Away from that now to the world of athletics, world record holder Toby Amusen will take to the tracks today in the women's 100-meter hurdles event at the 64th edition of the Golden Spike Meet scheduled to take place in Ostrava, Czechia. The 28-year-old who produced the standout display at the latest installment of Diamond League held in Paris last Friday when she clocked the season's best time of 12.24 seconds to finish second in the women's 100-meter hurdles has been confirmed by organizers. Amusan will compete alongside American Alicia Johnson, Italy's Elena Carraro, Sarah Lavin of Ireland, and Anna Turner, Victoria Foster of Slovakia. The Nigerian is clearly the favorite among other competitors, but she will be looking to improve her timing and performance following her 12.24 seconds mark in Paris, where she marked only her second fastest ever, behind a world record mark of 12.12 seconds set in 2022 in Eugene, Oregon. Well, straight to long tennis in a battle of serving excellence at the Bad Hamburg Open, powered by Solawat on Monday. Former world number one Naomi Osaka came out on top. Osaka of Japan edged past Zeb in qualifier Olga Danilovic 7-6, 7-6 in a gripping first-round showdown at the WTA 500 grass court event. Currently ranked 57th in the WTA rankings, Osaka took 2 hours and 5 minutes to best world number 37 Danilovic, this year's leader in percentage of first set points won. Osaka had 16 aces, although Danilovic was not too far behind with 10 aces for her name. The victory holds Osaka's 3-match losing streak after a round of 16 loss to Petter Stearns at Rome. We're still talking about tennis. Jean Fonseca recorded his first tour-level grass court win on Monday at the Eastbourne Open, where he moved past Sisoberg 6-7, 6-love, 6-3 to reach the second round, competing in windy conditions. The next-gen ATP Brazilian hovered from squandering 3-set points in the first set to triumph after 2 hours and 10 minutes. With his 13th tour-level win of the season, the 18-year-old became the youngest match winner at the ATP 250 since three-time champion Taylor Fritz in 2015. Fonseca, who is competing in his third tour-level grass court match, will meet top seed Fritz in the second round. Well, finally, from the world of football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria were held to a goalless draw by Portugal on Monday evening, a tightly contested international friendly in Lisbon, in what was their penultimate preparatory match before the start of the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Head coach Justin Madugu named a strong starting 11 featuring Chiamaka Nadozie in goal with Osenachi Ohale, Miraculous Sani, Shukura Toladipo, and Tosin Demahin providing defensive cover. Tony Payne, Christy Uchebe, and Jennifer Echejini operated in midfield, while Rashida Tajibade, Francisca Odega, and Rinsola Babajide led the attack. The match served as a key opportunity for Madugu to test his tactical approach and assess his players' readiness for the Continental Championship. It also allowed the 9-time African champions to face a disciplined and technically sound Portuguese side who dominated possession in several stretches but failed to get past Nadozie. The Super Falcons struggled to create clear-cut chances in the opening period, but they maintained their shape and discipline. Before the tournament begins on July 5, Nigeria will face Ghana in a high-profile friendly on June 29 in Morocco. But that's all we have for you at this particular time. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll have an extensive conversation in the world of sports. Do stay with us. Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest news, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood, and from the pitch to the track. Join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program on television, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Spectrum Television. Sports Central, your home for sports.
The depth of knowledge, fun, and entertainment you experience on Spectrum Television can never be overstated, especially when you get them all at once. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest news, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood, and from the pitch to the track. Join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program on television, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Spectrum Television. Sports Central, your home for sports.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. They are Spectrum Television and Broaden.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another exciting time. We talk about the best of stories in the world of sports. It is Sports Central, and my name is Blader Game. The guys seated on the table of greatness, ready for this one. To dive in funny and exciting times ahead. Before I get to the introductions, one of the key talking points will center around the world of tennis. Tennis games, the grass court season is in preparation for the big one, the Wimbledon, and would be something to really look forward to. But the Eastbourne Open taking place, the Bath Hamburg Open also taking place. The likes of Naomi Osaka are somewhat somehow finding a way to have victories. Switching gear, talk about the football stories that we have on the plate today. It would be the biggest one that happened yesterday. The Super Falcons in a friendly in Lisbon against Portugal. And many said the fought had their lines based on their performance, but it ended in a draw. And afterwards, they were facing Ghana. The club walk also standing tall. We saw a Lionel Messi side, and we're talking about Inter Miami, leading 2-0, and we're hoping that they could get a victory, but it ended against an African side 2-2. And history still remains. Lionel Messi has not lost at the group stage, lost out of the group stage of a tournament since his career started. We think it was going to be the first time, but it never happened. Legends always legend. Before you say now, good morning, with David. Good morning. So good to see you today.
An excellent time to return, Blyden. Of course, talking about the FIFA Club World Cup, getting to the business end of it. And yeah, we definitely know who are actually the big guns or who are not. Unfortunately, one European team, a big team as a matter of fact, have been voted out as well. So it's certainly sending signals to others who are yet to play their last group game. So they have to be serious about it. Otherwise, they might just follow suit in terms of being eliminated.
I might follow suit in terms of being eliminated. Funny to know, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Blyden. Julian Alvarez first season as a professional footballer without winning a trophy. You can imagine the level of success the man has had throughout his career. Very young, but still always winning laurels in his career as a football player. Now Atletico Madrid looks like all the young players should be avoiding going to Atletico Madrid.
Well, it's a case study to talk about. We'll do the analysis of it. And quickly, we're going to start with the first story that we have here. The first talking point will be around the world of tennis. It has to be the Eastbourne Open as Lulu Son, the Kiwi from New Zealand, 24 years of age, beating Kazakhstan in this one. Well, the conversation is Kazakhstan was the defending champion of Austria rather. Kazakhstan is from Austria in this particular competition in Eastbourne, but somewhat somehow was beaten by the 24-year-old victory, which would have been a shocker, many would say, but not the biggest of competition, but it's something to look forward to, especially when you are from New Zealand and you are such not too of a young star, but beating the defending champion, Daria Kasatkina.
Well, I think, of course, a big upset as a matter of fact, because Kasatkina is the defending champion of a competition. And looking at the very fact that she's more experienced, former champion as well, it certainly shows you that there were many hopes on the lady to go as far as possible defending the champion she won. And the very fact that she's also home favorite, many expecting something quite good. When you're a top seeded, so many expectations. I think a few players who are there who could be, of course, the next in terms of where they're seated in the competition should be Jelena Ostapenko, the Latvia, which I also think she would be able to, of course, stand this particular test and maybe make it into the last four or the finals, as the case may be. Kasatkina is now out, so he leaves it quite open now for all the players who are not top seeded in the competition outside Jelena Ostapenko to do battle it out and ensure that they go as far as possible in the competition. Yes, might not just be a big competition to talk about, but I think it's a good preparatory competition for the Wimbledon. Record at the Wimbledon is the next Grand Slam we're expecting. And as a matter of fact, it also paves way for all the youngsters to try and groom themselves, especially those who will be, of course, qualifying as qualifiers to the Wimbledon. So good stuff for Lulu Sun. I want to see how she advances from here and, of course, how far she can go in the competition.
We'll talk about Lulu Sun now. She's won in 3 sets in this one. And we'll play against Anna Pliskova of Russia in the second round. Is that conversation? Unfortunately, now let's move ahead and talk about an interesting one. It would be Naomi Osaka at the Bath or Hamburg Open. And Naomi Osaka, recent times, she's not been performing so well, but this is a 500 tall level event, and Naomi Osaka had to hold off in this one, beating Danilovic in Bad Hamburg. She had to get this victory after 26 aces at the end of it at the WTA 500 grass court event. And currently, Naomi Osaka is ranked at 57th in the WTA ranking. She took 2 hours, 5 minutes to best world number 37 Danny Lovish.
Well, when you look at Naomi Osaka, I feel she's been a more of like shadow of herself when she started. That that bridging era between the likes of Serena Williams and now the Iga Swiatek and Zabalenka of this world. But she's really not been able to reach the levels we expected of her. But now in Hamburg, I feel she has the quality to maybe reach the highest stage here, semi-finals, finals. You never can tell. But for Naomi Osaka, always being able to dig deep when it matters most, and hopefully this is that competition we would see her, bring out the top level competition spirit that we've always known of Naomi Osaka.
A top level competitive spirit that we've known of Naomi Osaka. Well, when I see her name on tips, she reminds me of the likes of Naomi Osaka in tennis, but somehow interesting times ahead. Let's get to talk about this one because she just walked into the studio and left the studio immediately. Let's talk about exciting time then. Big games to talk about. It would be also still in the Eastbourne Open. The Fonseca ends a first grass court win, sets Taylor Fritz a clash in Eastbourne. And it's that conversation. Well, to David, let's just have a bite before you get to talk about football stories. Not many talking points at football in today's package, but Fonseca ending a first grass court win. But we talk about the likes of Taylor Fritz, the American. He's been absolutely fantastic. This particular, right from last season into the season. So Fonseca, not the biggest of name, but seem to be trying, especially the Eastbourne Open. But it might be the end of the road against Taylor Fritz.
Well, it's so unfortunate that the matchup looks a little bit predictable. Looking at the qualities of both players. Fonseca is world number 57, and we're talking about Taylor Fritz, who is a little bit higher in terms of ranking in the ATP. So it certainly shows you that both quality expected from both players is actually swinging into Taylor Fritz's way. But I think it's quite good that he earned that particular first grass court win of the year for himself. It, of course, builds confidence for the man Fonseca and also experience. Of course, a youngster as a matter of fact. But I do not feel that game against Taylor Fritz should be taken lightly. Taylor Fritz should also, take it seriously, looking at the very fact that we've seen major upsets this particular year. But I think if I want to be a little bit realistic, Taylor Fritz stand a better chance of getting the better of Fonseca, who's currently world number 57 in the ATP rankings.
Taylor Well, it's basically what it is because you're looking at the numbers and where the numbers are counting in this one. I mean, all the forces at second place in the world of sports always going to be exciting to look at, even future tendencies for some of these players. Fonseca is the next one against Taylor Fritz of the United States of America. Well, now, we'll go on a quick break, and when we're back, it will be football stories all around the world, looking at a case of the Super Falcons in preparation towards the WAFCON. They're the 9-time champion and will be hoping to make it 10-time when they go to Morocco for the WAFCON. But they played against Portugal in Lisbon, a draw. Welcome back. It's your Sports Central. And my name is Vladimir Devin 4010. Still with me for a company going nowhere. Now we talk about football stories all around the world. First, we begin from the home scene. Exciting times it is. The Super Falcons of Nigeria played away from home in Lisbon in a friendly match yesterday evening in Lisbon against Portugal. And we're hoping we'll get the best of display at the end of it, but it ended a barren draw. The first half with David, you saw the game the way it was. The Portuguese ladies were leading proceedings, pressuring the Nigerian side, especially in the first half. In fact, throughout the match, the biggest chance Nigeria had, they were so close. Francisco Odega hitting the woodwork in the 80th minute, kicked the ball past the goalkeeper, and we're thinking it was that moment they'll get the victory, but it never happened in the 80th minute. What did you make of the game?
I think it was a game that many would look at it being a test run game, especially for Justin Madugu, due to the very fact that now he's actually gotten a picture of the players that will be playing for him in the upcoming WAFCON. So it is expected that whatever tactics he's got, it will definitely be the last two friendly games ahead of the WAFCON. First of all, I think I want to start by the very fact that the Super Falcons of Nigeria, in the first half of that game, were pressured by the Portuguese side. They were the ones asking the questions, dominating the game, but not for the heroics of the lady Chamaka Nadozie, who was quite excellent in terms of goalkeeping assignments yesterday. Maybe they would have actually led in the first half of that particular game. But I want to thank the ladies. They came back in the second half. I think the coach at some point in the back room charged them to do better. We saw them, of course, dominating possession of the game and also taking the game to the Portuguese side. So it definitely tells you that we are not there yet, especially in terms of what we expect from Justin Madugu and the ladies as well, trying to interpret the man's tactics on the pitch of play. So I think going forward now, I want to see more from the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Yes, they were a lot more dominating in the second half, but what happened in terms of chances and converting them? And that will be problematic if we keep seeing this heading into the WAFCON. So I'm quite thankful that we have one game left before the start of the WAFCON, which would be against Ghana in the next days to come. So I want to see some of these tactical changes and approach to game being changed as well. Starting the game with a good spirit in terms of dominating possession, asking the questions as well. Come out to play. Don't be defensive. Yeah. Most times when you're defensive, you can actually lead to goals. Mistakes will happen as well. So if we have all of these against Ghana, going to the WAFCON, I think we'll have a more, of course, solid side and a more prepared side going to the tournament proper.
Well, funny thing now, when I watch the game, I thought to myself, because most times we see African sides do that, they just sit back. I was looking at Portuguese girls, not a so difficult side in terms of the way they played, not putting enough pressure on them, but it's just the mentality the Super Falcons were sitting back. But we saw the starting lineup because David mentioned something and said, look, maybe the man has test run the side and could be the starting lineup that he thinks it could have. A best of it. I saw the starting lineup with a goalkeeper, Chamaka Nadozie, and we're talking about defense, Osinachi Ohala, Miracle Oseni, Shukarat Oladipo in that regard, Tosin and Demihan providing defensive cover for them. Tony Payne, Christy Uchebe, and Jennifer Chejere in the midfield, top-level midfielders there, and with Rashida Jibada up front, Francisco Odega, she played through the game, and Rinsola Babajide, a newcomer being joining the attack in that direction. You watch this starting lineup. You think it's the best Nigeria's got? Looking forward to the WAFCON?
Well, with that, squad that was released, I feel that's the best lineup because you look at that starting 11. I feel there's no other player on the bench who could probably, pose a better quality to those ones we have in the field. So look at the front line of Rashida Jibade, Rinsola Babajide, who scored lots of goals in the Spanish feminine side. Now, I look at it and I ask questions. Do we have any better options on the bench? No, we do not. It's just like I talked about the other day.
The likes of Reformer, no one not good enough, and the rest of them.
That has had too many chances.
She started as a
she
number
had
9
our
in the
best chance on the
Why
on the
didn't
day.
she convert it? That's another question.
She had our best.
You had the best chance. Why don't you convert those chances you
I,
got?
I feel right now.
Well, but
when
the
you
other
play against
conversation,
The money was on the bench.
when you play against Portugal, it's just the mindset of Africans now. When we play against European opposition, no matter how good we are against them, we always tend to sit back. That's what happened. Against Ghana, you'd see the Super Falcons come out more and maybe we'll have goals from the likes of Francisco Odega.
well, a big problem of the mentality to it, David.
If we continue sticking with Francisco Odega as our top number 9 heading to the WAFCON, I mean, we should face the reality. We'll be deemed for failure.
Well, to be David, you think one thing is to look at Francisco Odega from previous performance. When you watch the match, she didn't look that bad.
Was she sharp enough as a number 9?
Yeah, I think so. She was fast.
Positioning was also a case. I saw the match myself as well. I mean, I'll prefer Ashita Joshua even at the moment than Francisco Odega.
Well,
But the one who's still there, why, of course, Omid, okay, it's been, of course, quite some conversation we've had in the last couple of days before this particular show. Why omit Wander's name as well? So you're sticking with Odega, and it's more like taking Ahmed Musa to, the
Well,
African,
quite
and then-
different.
No,
Quite
I'm
different.
coming.
Ahmed Musa can run.
He says he can't
He-
run.
he can run
because
very
he's
well.
a winger. A
Francisco
striker
Odega is-
doesn't need to run more.
Francisco Odega is
No,
very
as a
well.
striker, you need positioning.
But
You don't need to run more.
Francisco Odega is a winger. Yes, we can understand.
So why deploy him as a number 9 when we have other number
that
9
could be
options?
that could be the question to talk about. That could be the question to talk about. But the Super Falcons still have another game to play against Ghana, and that would be the last preparation before we talk about the WAFCON. Because when you look at the group, then Group B, where they'll face the likes of Tunisia, Algeria, and Botswana. Algeria, Tunisia, Botswana might not be as difficult as facing Portugal in Lisbon, but they'll have a test game. That test game will take place against Ghana. It will be July 5th before the tournament proper. What we're looking at, rather Nigeria will face Ghana. A high-profile friendly would be June 29th in Morocco before the tournament proper will start July 5th. The last time the Super Falcons won the WAFCON was 2018, and they'll be looking forward to make it. Now, let's put it side by side now. What do you think the coach needs to change moving to the WAFCON? We've seen this friendly. It didn't play so well in terms of creativity moving forward. What does the coach need to make us adjustment moving forward to the WAFCON? Because we're talking about the likes of Morocco being part of it, South Africa being part of it, the Copper Girls of Zambia, they've been in top form. I don't know, maybe these are the three best other teams that are strong as the Super Falcons in Africa.
Well, I would say, first of all, I watched that Portugal game, at least the first half of it, and I saw Justin Madugu lining up the girls in a way that they were just pouncing, waiting for counter attacks, and it never came. When you go to the WAFCON proper, you're going to have teams sitting back against you because they just view the Super Falcons as a threat. So if he does not give those girls,
But might not be Zambia sitting back for.
I watched Nigeria against Morocco when they were knocked out in the semi-finals the other time. Was it Morocco? Yeah, they were knocked out in the semi-finals. The girls sat back against Nigeria. Yes, they were better than the
South
Nigerians.
Africa will not
but
sit
they
back
sat
against
back.
Nigeria.
They will still sit back.
I do not even think Morocco
South
will sit
Africa
back.
will not
They
sit
sit
Remember
back.
the last
against the
tournament,
Nigerians.
South Africa being sit back
they
against
won't sit
Nigeria.
back against
The
Nigeria.
pressure of Nigeria.
I'm telling you that these teams, they look at Nigeria as a threat, and you would always sit back.
Now,
counting on the
here's
counter attack.
the conversation.
Before you comment into
Yeah.
that, I'll just go write a picture because I've never seen Morocco sit
Sit back. They don't sit
I've
back.
never
They
seen
sat back
Morocco.
against the Nigerians in the last WAFCON.
Even
They
in the
don't sit
WAFCON,
back.
no. Morocco, they're known for passing the ball.
No,
That's
I
quick passing the ball.
think-
You can't be passing the ball while sitting
I think
back.
why are we not having this conversation of Nigeria having a quite easy at the group stage? Yes, it's fine. Maybe because of the opponents we're facing, but go to the knockout. You're definitely not facing same opponents you're playing at the group stage or the knockout stage. That's where the business starts.
So what
Yeah.
does the coach get to do in this?
I think I'm quite concerned now because I feel in the game against Ghana before the WAFCON starts properly, I want to see some changes in that attacking lineup. Don't stick to Odega alone. Yes, we know the Juventus girl can also play as a number 9. Try all the options. The likes of Rashida Tajibade and of course the lady who played on the right flank, they were quite good, excellently in terms of dribbles, in terms of chances created. But I want to see other options as number 9. That's where my problem lies at the moment. And if we do not have it quite right, we might actually have it very difficult to score goals, and that could also be problematic for
You
us.
see Nigeria, the Super Falcons really missing Uchenna Kanu at the tournament because she's been in that top 9 in recent
Absolutely.
times and she's not part of that list.
I think it could also be problematic. We're talking about Uche Nakano, who's also more experienced, has also played more
About lots of
competition.
physicality up front.
Absolutely for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Like I said before the start of the show, I think it's a case of Justin Madugu having, of course, his preferred options and players as well. Because I do not think some of the players who are missing out of this particular squad are not good enough. I just feel he feels like he will be more comfortable working with this kind of players. But I just wish it works out for him in terms of tactics, in terms of what he demands from the ladies on the pitch of play.
Well, many feeling from what's Red David now, looking forward to what works for the Super Falcons and Justin Madago, the coach of the side, moving to the WAFCON. I wanted to ask him, Fonitina, why he lost Francisco Odega this month, but I'll skip that. Fonitina, which country is the biggest threat at this tournament, the WAFCON, when it starts July 5th now? Because you're looking at some of the names now, South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, Zambia, the Copper Girls. Zambia, the Copper Girls have been the resurgent kind of team in Africa. Not many people really thought they'll be that good, but the likes of Barbara Banda inspiring that team now. Which team do you think is the biggest threat to win the championship?
Say Nigeria, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, we've seen them in international competitions, but let's talk about the South Africans and Zambia. What happened when they get to the World Cup? What happens when they get to the
This is
Olympics?
not the World Cup. This African
That's
Nations
what I'm
Cup,
saying.
and they are the defending champions.
There's this thing about when smaller teams get to face a bigger team. That's why I told you I watched the game Morocco against Nigeria. There was no difference in quality. They were just waiting there on the counter.
They defeated
And
Nigeria.
They took their chances. They took their chances
I think the
against
issue.
Nigerians.
I think the issue is it's good for you to hold on. It's good for you to say Nigeria will perform well, but don't downgrade other African sides. The way you say it sounds like they're not big challenge. South Africa are defending champions at the WAFCON.
Exactly.
The Copper Girls
what happened
finished
at the World
third.
Cup?
They
What
defeated
happened at the World
Nigeria.
Cup? Most of these teams left the World Cup without a single win. Without a single
It's
win.
not the World Cup. It's the Nations Cup.
Let's also face reality. Justin Madugu will actually be the coach of the side, going to a major tournament for the first time.
Quite inexperienced.
Absolutely, that could also count for something. So I'm not underrating the very fact that other participants are not quality
Because at the
enough.
World Cup it was Randy Waldron.
Absolutely. So this is a different tournament, a different coach, a different tactics. So let's first of all look at what Madugu is bringing. How do we identify these ladies when we see Madugu in the sideline?
Do you
That's another
trust
question.
Madugu?
I do not trust him enough
All right.
from the selection.
Well, it's what David doesn't seem to trust Justin Madugu from the selection, but we've seen the bulk of the title Nigeria's won. None of them have won at the WAFCON. The bulk of the coaches have been Nigerian coaches handling them. And this one might not be any different. The last time a foreign coach took Nigeria to the WAFCON, they couldn't even finish third. They finished fourth at the WAFCON. The Copper Girls finished third. Is that conversation? Yes, they performed well at the World Cup. What happens at the WAFCON? It will be a conversation. Let's move to other talking point. We go to the United States of America, where the Club World Cup is taking center stage. It was Inter Miami ending a showdown with the best of the best, talking about Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup round of 16. Well, funny thing, you've seen the Club World Cup, how it spans now. The first three legs taking place now, and the boys have been separated from the men. I nearly said the girls because we're talking about the girls. The boys have been separated from the men. Inter Miami, good news for them. They're not knocked out of this competition, but possibilities they're facing Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, the man Lionel Messi gets to face his former team, Paris Saint-Germain now, and a team where he said he was not respected enough. But let's see how that respect transcends to the field of play now, because when you have the likes of Izare Doué running at you, you know you can't get any respect from those young stars. Peter Varaskelia has been hitting the tournament running, scored a goal in their last game as well, where they won 2-0. So it shows you that Paris Saint-Germain are not a team that takes any game lightly in this particular competition. For Inter Miami, I must say I'm really impressed. And maybe it's just the Messi factor, because when you look at all of our other American teams,
Paris Saint-Germain were beaten at this tournament.
well, look at Seattle.
But
Let's talk about Inter Miami now. Look at Seattle Sounders, look at LAFC. I think they were not good enough. And now when Inter Miami are able to progress to the next round, it shows you that Lionel Messi is still a deciding factor in games like this. So if Paris Saint-Germain feel they're just going to have Inter Miami roll over for them, I think they're going to be in for a shocker.
Well, unfortunately, things are going to be in for a shocker. David, I don't know what you make of the Club World Cup, but Atletico Madrid also earned a victory, and Botafogo reached the round of 16. Let's talk about Botafogo. How decent they've been at this tournament. The South American champions. The first shocker was, which team did a bit? Paris Saint-Germain, yeah. They defeated Paris Saint-Germain, and everyone took notice of them. But also going to the next round. So the next round is thick and exciting.
Well, I think it's quite unfortunate, first of all, with Atletico Madrid. They needed to score at least 3 goals in that game to qualify. But unfortunately, they had just one. So they had to go back home, despite having the same number of points like the opponents who were number second in that particular table. I think for the South Americans, just like we said over time, I think they're one of the continents to watch in this particular tournament. They have shown some quality stuff, and why over time most persons say football was made in Brazil. And I think the quality of the side
David quotes me. I said it. Come on.
Maybe you said it too, but before then I also had that quote in my mind as well. So quality stuff from the South American side, but I want to see how they can actually progress from here, go as far as possible in the competition. And for other continents, Akali is still part of it as well. I want to see how they progress from here. Now we're talking about facing top opponent, just like you talked about Inter Miami, the only MLS side who are beaten in this competition. I want to see how they progress further in terms of facing top opponents as the competition progresses.
Well, I like to talk about Atletico Madrid. I feel it's time that the management of that team actually looks ahead from Diego Simeone era. You can't just keep being a mediocre team, because for me, I think that's why Atletico Madrid.
I think mediocre is not the right word for Atletico
They're
Madrid.
just comfortable being third place to Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Before the emergence of
Diego Simeone, where were
was
they?
Atletico
He
Madrid.
is the highest paid coach in the world.
Before
Ahead
he's
of the
a
likes of
legend.
Pep Guardiola.
He's
Why
good.
not use that money and
Well,
get
I
He's
could
won the league
understand.
before.
I could understand.
He's won the league
I
only
could
twice.
understand.
He's won the
But
league
here's the
before.
thing.
In that span, their
In
managers have won two
Monopoly
times.
between Real Madrid and Barca, even before his emergence.
Well, Uchebe David,
It's
there are two
broke the dog.
conversations.
When
Hold
he
on,
came
hold on,
There is
fam.
money at Atletico
He
Madrid.
broke
Hold
the
on,
dog.
hold
People
on,
are
guys.
gaming.
Investing
Hold
in
on,
the
hold
wrong
on,
place.
hold on, guys, hold on,
What are we
guys.
saying?
Here's a conversation from my end. It's not necessarily that I think Atletico can do more.
Do more.
Many
Yeah,
people
we
would
understand
agree.
they can
Many
actually
people
do
would
more,
agree
but I can.
Or calling them mediocre.
That's
That's
what
where
I'm
the
saying.
problem
We
is.
have them, they are mediocre enough because really, they scored in the 87 minute. We are talking about 1-0 as if they won the game comfortably. They had to bring on Griezmann, who scored in the 87 minute. That game was heading for a 0-0 draw, a game where you needed to win by 3 goals. Trust me, if we had Real Madrid there, they would have scored 3 goals in the first half.
Well, sadly.
Atletico Madrid needs to move ahead from the Diego Simeone era.
Saturday, Diego Simeone, you talk about, and funny thing has forgotten, Atletico Madrid played against Botafogo, who defeated Paris Saint-Germain. And Botafogo are the South American champions, ended 1-0 in favor of Atletico Madrid. You don't expect Atletico Madrid to go all the way and beat Botafogo 3-0. It's not going to be easy. They're decent side, no matter how I want to talk about it. Other games that took place, Paris Saint-Germain eliminated Sundowns from the Club World Cup, and they take first in Group B, getting even further exciting. Porto Al Ahly was the game that everyone looked forward to, exploded for 8 goals in the Club World Cup, and at the end of it, 4-4 it ended. Well, the Africans have made us proud, somewhat, somehow, despite going home. I hope you agree with me on that.
Well, maybe for Agadi, not for other African teams. I don't think Mamelodi Sundowns did enough.
They did that bit,
Maybe.
especially when you end up playing a top side. You're always going to face
It's
that
not yet done
situation.
and tested for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Not
Just like one
done.
game.
Not done. Yeah,
Let's
they
have
have
one
one
game.
game.
So
Okay.
I think they still have a chance to move to the next round of the competition.
So you're proud of them then. And that's where we were. Anyway, we'll move to the world of transfer. We'll get a look at all the games that are taking place today. But in the Club World Cup, many games take place. I won't go into the details of it. Arsenal are keen on Paris Saint-Germain forward Bacalo, but I hear Paris Saint-Germain are saying they're not selling the player yet. And similarly, it would be something to really talk about. Pep Guardiola may trim Manchester City squad to avoid having sad players. Always a big concern for many coaches when they have to keep some players on the bench. And similarly, Tottenham Hotspur agree a £5 million deal for Japan's Takai. We'll see how that pans out at the end of it. And Manchester United, they've improved offer for Brentford's Mbemo. I hear it's up to 60 million. Is it euros or pounds now? Euros, exactly. Improved bid it is. Let's see what happens before the day is over. And probably might get to announce Mbemo joining Manchester United as Brentford coach Andrew is in line to be named. He's a free kick coach. We'll see how it happens. Come from Ireland is that conversation. Guys, we have to bounce. We draw the curtain here. Thank you for being a part of it. My name is Vlad. Welcome to Diving Funny Theater. Being the marksman for me, doing the magic for me. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, tomorrow is another day. We return with all the action and all the analysis.